that has been debated on the floor of the House. And the members this afternoon will be taking a vote regarding on whether the bill should move into the next stage. That is the bill to be read a second time. If it passes, then that means it will be moved into the next stage for consideration. If there are any amendments that may have been moved by the members of the Senate as they were considering this particular bill, then the bill shall move into the next stage. For the bill to pass, it will need a delegation of 24 members to be able to vote for it to be read a second time. So this is one of the business that the members shall be considering at the division stage. I had indicated to you that this afternoon members of the Senate have a number of bills that shall be considered at the committee of the whole. These bills include the County Hall of Fame, among other bills, the Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill number 3. However, the procession of the Speaker has already begun making its way into the House. We can't see that procession along the red carpet aisle. The business of the House is about to commence. That is the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi. He will be presiding over this afternoon sitting, a broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. We are glad that you're joining us. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast. Good afternoon.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Tukuomba utuwajalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
So the prayer has been said and the chair taken. There is a quorum hitch at the commencement of the sitting of the Senate. And currently the quorum bell is on, of course, to alert the members of the Senate that the presence inside the chamber is highly needed for the House to be able to correct and also for it to be able to commence. So that bell is on. And as we wait for the House to correct, we shall continue to take a look at the business that the Senate will be transacting this afternoon. The Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, this is a bill that is originating from the National Assembly. It's a government-sponsored bill. And at the Senate, it's co-sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader, that is Honorable Aaron Cheriot. This is a bill that was already considered at the National Assembly and passed, and has now been forwarded to the Senate for consideration as well, a bill that concerns counties, and the Senate being a house that oversights the functions or is mandated to be able to oversight on the functions of the county governments or the devolved units, then the Senate will also have to. So this is a bill that introduces a robust and forward-looking legal framework that is aimed at enhancing sustainable forest management, strengthening regulatory oversight, and also promoting community participation in conservation efforts. The legislators at the National Assembly had underscored this particular bill or the amendments towards this bill as having been designed to respond to emerging realities in forestry, including climate change, biodiversity loss, and the need for accountable. So this is a bill that will be considered at this particular it's part of the business that the senators shall this afternoon be considering. Debate on it to be able to resume. We can see the leader of the majority party, Honorable Erin Cheriot, counting or finding out the number of the members in the chamber to be able to establish whether the quorum has already been attained. And once that quorum is attained, the Speaker shall call the House to order for the business, of course, to commence. So this bill, the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, is coming up, or debate on it will be resuming this afternoon after it was interrupted on the Tuesday, the afternoon of 12th May, the year 2026. Debate on it already started. However, this afternoon, that resumption will be on for members of the Senate who may have not been able to participate or contribute to this particular bill to be able to give their input regarding the contents of this bill. Now, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 53.1, also members of the Senate this afternoon shall be able to seek a number of statements from various standing committees. The Senator for Kakamega County, Honorable Dr. Boni Halwale, will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding the status of the construction of Bukhungu Stadium and the Kakamega Teaching and Referral Hospital in Kakamega County. This afternoon, also the nominated Senator, Honorable Hamida Kibwana, will also seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights. This regards the unresolved cases and the welfare of returning personnel from the Haiti mission. The Senator for Nairobi City, Honorable Edwin Sifuna, will also seek a statement this afternoon from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding the state of Muhoroni Sugar Company. The quorum is about to be attained. We can see that more members have made their way into the House. And of course, in a short while, we shall be having that quorum attained, and the House sitting, or the sitting of the Senate, shall commence. More members of the Senate making their way into the House. Just a few members remaining for the House to quorate. And once that is attained, then the business of this afternoon shall commence. The Senator for Embu County, Honorable Alexander Mundigi, will seek a statement this afternoon from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. This regards the challenges that bee farmers in Embu County are facing. The quorum has been attained. Allow me to hand you over.
Clerk, we do have quorum now, yeah? Proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Statement pursuant to Standing Order 52-1, Senator for Narok County, the Honorable Ledama Olekina. That statement is dropped. Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise on a statement on the critical shortage of family planning commodities and the family planning funds. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52-1 to make a statement on a matter of general topical concern, namely the critical shortage of family planning across the country and the urgent need to ring-fence family planning funds. Mr. Speaker, family planning is a critical component of reproductive health sector and is directly linked to the right to the highest attainable health standard as provided under Article 43(1) of the Constitution. It also affects maternal health, the welfare of our young people, household planning, access to information, and the broader realization of universal health coverage. This statement is informed by a stakeholder consultative meeting held on the 26th of March 2026, attended by members of the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association, the National Council for Population and the Development and the Ministry of Health, United Nations platforms, UNFPA Kenya, Population Services Kenya, Kenya Plan International, JH, Piego, HINET, and civil society organizations. Mr. Speaker, Kenya is currently experiencing a severe shortage of family planning commodities. The Ministry of Health has reported that several commodities are at zero stock nationally, including combined oral contraceptives, 3-month injectables, progesterone-only pills, emergency contraceptive pills, and cycle beads. Other commodities include implants, male condoms, DMPA subconscious injections, copper IUCDs, and LN IUDs remain at critically lower levels or below the optimal supply pipeline. As I proceed, Mr. Speaker, the total estimated funding requirement for family planning commodity standards stands at approximately $22.9 million US. However, in the current financial year 2025-26, only 500 million was allocated. Out of this amount, only 250 has been disbursed to the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA, leaving an outstanding balance of 250 million, despite valid authorities to incur expenditure having been incurred. This delay is particularly concerning because of the current procurement lead time for family planning commodities. It's approximately 13 months from the date of receipt of funds. Therefore, every delay in disbursements directly translates into prolonged stockouts at health facilities and limited access to essential reproductive health services. Mr. Speaker, the consequences of inactions are grave. The Ministry of Health has projected that the current stockouts could result in increased unintended pregnancies, unsafe abortions, maternal deaths, and additional healthcare costs attributed to unmet family planning needs. This would reverse the gains Kenya has made in reproductive health and undermine the country's universal health coverage objectives. As I proceed, Mr. Speaker, Kenya also risks failing to meet its commitments under the Impact with UNFPA, under which the government is required to procure family planning commodities using domestic funds as a condition for receiving matching contributions. Continued non-disbursement, therefore, exposes the country to the risk of losing future compact support and falling behind comparable countries in the region. Mr. Speaker, in the view of the foregoing, I call upon, 1, the National Treasury to urgently disburse the outstanding $250 million to KEMSA to facilitate timely procurement of family planning commodities. Number 2, the Ministry of Health and KEMSA to provide Parliament with a comprehensive and current report on the stock status of all family planning commodities, including the procurement pipeline and the expected delivery timelines. Number 3, the relevant parliamentary committees to inquire into the persistent non-disbursement of allocated family planning funds and identify the administrative or financial bottlenecks causing these delays. Number 4, the National Treasury and the Ministry of Health to develop a clear mechanism for ring-fencing family planning funds within the national budget so as to prevent diversion, delays, or reprogramming of this allocation. Ministry, in collaboration with organizations, in order to strengthen public information awareness on family planning services, particularly among young people, women, and underserved communities. And finally, Parliament to prioritize and ring-fence the ring-fencing of family planning funds during the consideration of the budget estimates for financial year 2026 and 2027. Finally, Mr. Speaker, family planning is not merely a health matter. It is a governance issue, a development imperative, and a constitutional obligation. The failure to disburse funds already allocated for family planning commodities undermines the right to reproductive health care and weakens public finance accountability. I therefore urge the House to support decisive actions to ensure that allocated funds are released, commodities are procured and distributed, and the reproductive health rights for women, girls, and families across the countries are protected. Thank you. Tabitha Mutima.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52.1 to make a statement on a matter of national concern. The current fiscal approach adopted by the National Treasury, particularly in relation to the funding of Parliament and its critical functions. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is deeply troubling that while the national government continues to incur significant expenditures under Article 223 of the Constitution of Kenya, Parliament is simultaneously being subjected to severe financial constraint. These imbalances not only raises questions of fiscal prioritization, but also risk undermining the constitutional role of Parliament as an independent arm of government. Mr. Speaker, sir, Parliament is currently facing mounting pending bills and acute funding shortfalls that are directly affecting its ability to discharge its constitutional mandate. Essential activities including committee work, legislative processes, oversight functions, and key statutory engagement, such as and other outreach unpredictable funding. Mr. Speaker, sir, equally concerning is a persistent failure by National Treasury to honor budgetary commitments. Promises of financial support, including allocation anticipated under the supplementary budget have not materialized, leaving institutions to operate under significant deficit. This pattern erodes confidence in fiscal planning and creates operational uncertainty that is unattainable for a critical. The continued reliance on Article 223 to authorize expenditures while Parliament struggles to meet its core obligation presents a contradiction that must be urgently addressed. It is imperative that Treasury align its spending practices with the principles of accountability, transparency, and equitable resource allocation across all arms of government. In light of the above, I urge National Treasury to, 1, prioritize allocation of funding towards the settlement of pending bills by Parliament. Ensure the time budgetary allocation. Provide clarity and accountability regarding expenditures undertaken under Article 223. And number 4, adopt a more predictable and supports the effective functioning of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is sad, and Parliament cannot effectively perform its oversight role while simultaneously being uncertainty. Addressing this concern is not only a matter of institutional efficiency, but also to uphold the constitutional balance of governance. It is regrettable, Mr. Speaker, to note that Kenya had the opportunity to host the Fourth World Summit of the Committee of the Future Parliaments this October in Nairobi. Unfortunately, due to a competing priority within the National Treasury, Parliament was unable to allocate the required US dollars 100,000 to support the event. Mr. Speaker, sir, this decision is particularly disappointing given the significant economic and diplomatic benefit that such a global summit would have brought to Nairobi. Hosting parliaments would not only have elevated Kenyans' international standing, but also generated substantial revenue for the city through tourism, hospitality, and related sectors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, statement pursuant to Standing Order 53-1, the Senator for Nairobi City County, the Honorable Edwin Sifuna.
Thank you, Speaker. The subject of this statement is the visit we had in Kisumu just a few days ago. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on the state of Muhoroni Sugar Company. Mr. Speaker, Muhoroni Sugar Company remains a critical source of livelihood for thousands of households within the sugar belt and continues to play an integral role in the local economy, serving as a pillar of hope for the people of Kisumu County and the neighboring counties or regions. Although the sugar production plant was officially leased to a private entity in 2025, residents continue to experience prolonged closures and unexplained plant failures. These challenges raise serious concerns regarding the sustainability and intent of the lease agreement. As a key economic driver, the potential collapse of Muhoroni Sugar Company would have devastating consequences for the livelihoods and aspirations of a significant population dependent on the factory and its hinterland. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the current functional and operational status of Muhoroni Sugar Company, including detailed information on its daily cane crushing capacity and the staffing levels presently deployed at the plant. The statement specifying the total acreage supply raw materials for factory operations. Thirdly, whether the lease has fully taken over or the lessee has fully taken over the management and information on the consistency of factory operations and whether staff remuneration is up to date. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, the long-term strategic plans in place to restore the plant to full operational capacity and to reposition it as a viable and competitive region. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator for Kakamega County, the Honorable Dr. Boni Halwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the status of the construction of Bukhungu Stadium and Kakamega Teaching and Referral Hospital in Kakamega County. Mr. Speaker, sir, the two projects were initiated by the county government of Kakamega during the administration of the former Governor Wycliffe Oparanya as flagship development initiatives, infrastructure, and strengthening the healthcare services in Kakamega County and the wider Western region. Contractors were then subsequently engaged and significant public funds running into hundreds of millions dispersed towards the implementations of these projects. However, progress on both projects remained slow and limited, prompting the national government to assume responsibility for their completion. Despite this intervention, Mr. Speaker, the pace of implementation continues to raise concern among residents and stakeholders who are eager to see the projects completed and operational. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the initial approved project cost for the construction of Bukhungu Stadium and that of the Kakamega Teaching and Referral Hospital. 2, what was the total amount of funds disbursed by the county government of Kakamega to these projects, to their respective contractors for each project prior to the national government's takeover? 3, what is the budgetary allocation set aside by the national government for the completion of the two projects following the takeover for their implementation? And finally, but not least, what are the projected timelines for completion and operationalization of the two projects? Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My statement is regarding the unresolved cases and the welfare of returning personnel from the Haiti mission. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on a matter of national concern regarding unresolved matters from the Haiti mission. Mr. Speaker, sir, while Benedict Kabiru Kuria has been recognized as a fallen hero abroad, his family is without his remains or verified information on his fate. This lack of closure is deeply distressing and demands urgent accountability. Even as the mission is declared concluded, the family continues to endure in pain, uncertainty, and unanswered questions. Recognition without clarity only compounds their grief. Further, beyond this case, concerns persist about other personnel whose situations remain unresolved, raising the need for a comprehensive account of all individuals deployed and their current status. As the mission concludes, this House must ensure transparency, truth and support for both the affected families and officers who have returned from a high-risk deployment. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, a comprehensive and verified account of circumstances surrounding the death of Mr. Benedict Kabiru Kuria and ensure the immediate facilitation of repatriation of his remains to the family. Number 2,
a report to unresolved cases from the Haiti mission and the current status of all deployed personnel. Finally, the measures in place to provide psychological support to all returning officers and ensure that all affected families are accorded full support, transparency, and dignity. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Embu County, the Honorable Alexander Mundigi.
Mr. Speaker, sir, request for statement on the challenges facing bee farmers in Embu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise person to standing order 53-1 to check a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the challenges facing bee farmers in Embu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, a significant numbers of farmers in Embu County are engaged in agriculture and produce substantial quantities of honey to face critical challenges, inadequate industrial processing capacity, which limits value addition and restricted access to both local and international markets. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1. Initiative being undertaken by the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development and the county government of Embu County to support bee farmers through the provision of modern equipment and technologies aimed at enhancing value addition and improving the quality of honey and related products. 2. The step being taken by the ministry to identify and secure both the local and international market for honey and honey product from Embu County with the objective of increasing farmers' incomes. Senator Alexander Mundigi, Dr. Embu County.
Senator for Elgeyo Marakwet County, the Honorable Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Information, Communication and Technology on the escalating cases of digital fraud facilitated through the telecommunications infrastructure and the erosion of public trust arising from data privacy breaches by state agencies and telecommunication operators. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kenya continues to face increased incidences of cybercrime and digital fraud, including SIM swap fraud, phishing, and spoofing. Reports indicate that cyber threats and related financial losses have increased significantly, with many Kenyans being targeted through fraudulent calls and other forms of technology-enabled deception. Further, concerns have been raised regarding their late and lawful access to and sharing of subscriber data by telecommunications operators and state agencies. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1. The number of reported digital fraud and cybercrime cases for the years disaggregated spoofing and other related offenses, and the estimated financial losses arising therefrom. The measures being assisted fraud. 3. The number of investigations, prosecutions, and convictions under the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act and other related laws, including the conviction rate for digital fraud cases and the challenges impending successful prosecution. 4, the status of investigations into the reported cyber attacks on government websites, including measures taken to strengthen the security and resilience of government digital infrastructure. 5, the number of data access requests made by state agencies to Safaricom, Airtel, and Telcom since 2020, the legal basis for such requests, and measures taken by the Communications Authority of Kenya and the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner to investigate and penalize unlawful access to or sharing of subscriber data. Finally, Honorable Speaker, whether the government has acquired, deployed spyware or other surveillance technologies, and if so, the legal framework, approval processes, and oversight mechanisms governing their acquisition and use. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator for Taita Taveta County, the Honorable Maruma. That statement is dropped. Senator for Mandera County, the Honorable Captain Ali Roba. That statement is dropped. There is another statement by the Senator for Taita Taveta County. Dropped. Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments for not more than 10 minutes. If you get an opportunity to speak, kindly do so for not more than 3 minutes. Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to comment on the statement request by Senator Hamida and Senator Kisang. Mr. Speaker, the mission to Haiti has a lot of unanswered questions, and we've heard statements to the effect that the government of Kenya were not given full disclosure as to exactly what the officers were going to go through. It is not just the officer who has been mentioned in the statement who died. Mr. Speaker, there was an officer and Machakos, a place called Katua, who also passed away in this mission, and another one reported, but we would like the committee to come with a full disclosure of activities. One of the issues and statements made while these officers were in Haiti were that, Mr. Speaker, they ended up using old vehicles, unreliable vehicles, and that would increase the attack. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is important that we are of what exactly happened, what needed to happen, so that, Mr. Speaker, in the future, before Kenya gets involved in such activities, we will be knowing exactly what's going to happen to officers. Mr. Speaker, also, in this sort of activity, now that I'm running out of time, I want also to comment on Senator Chisang's statement whereby a lot of people are being robbed. You know, you see the internet and swim swaps, and this money is being gotten out of banks. And thereafter, investigations are landing into nowhere. So many people have been conned. Sometimes the money also ends up into M-Pesa agencies and M-Pesa accounts. Still get to nowhere.
Senator Newton.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to comment on the statement by Senator Hamida Kibwana on Officer Kabiru, Mr. Speaker, who has been reported and crowned as a fallen hero, Mr. Speaker, even before his body was, actually even to this date, the body. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hope that my time had been freezed or had been frozen. Mr. Speaker, I was saying I'm commenting on the statement by Senator Hamida Kibwana, who reportedly died during the infamous Haiti mission, Mr. Speaker. And the body of this particular officer has never been delivered to his family. And the whereabouts of this body is clear, Mr. Speaker. And this can be very, stressful and very harrowing to the family, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it also be remembered that the announcement of the death of this particular officer was made by none other but than the head of state, even before the family had been informed. Mr. Speaker, I hear that it is a practice that before you have been able to set your eyes on a body, that you cannot, declare that somebody has died, Mr. Speaker. So I think then the committee deals with this. They should be able to call the relevant authorities to exactly establish why has Officer Kabiru been declared as a fallen hero, meaning that he's dead even before his body has been seen. And if the body has been seen, Mr. Speaker, why has it not been delivered to the family for final rites, Mr. Speaker? It will be remembered that we have also had reports of many Kenyans that have lost their lives in Russia, Mr. Speaker. And the government, it's important that the committee establishes whether these people that are reported to have been unaccounted for in Russia, whether...
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a brief comment on the statement brought by Senator Hamida. Mr. Speaker, the first question is, how did we get there? We got there because we were magnanimous. We are willing to be able to go and help people in Haiti when other African countries were reluctant, because of our generosity. When are we ever going to stop being generous towards other people and you first look at yourself? I think it's about time, Mr. Speaker, as we pursue this issue, to be able to remember what you are told when you enter an aircraft. Protect yourself, put on your safety belt first before you even take care of your child. Mr. Speaker, it is very sad, and I really empathize with the family, with this fallen hero. The fact that we were willing to go there when other African countries were reluctant, the fact that we knew very well that the gangs that we were going to face there, the Americans and other developed nations were not even able to deal with, should encourage other countries, particularly the United Nations, to be able to put more emphasis to reimburse, compensate, and actually to try and track this body. It is very sad. That family will never say goodbye to their son. And I wonder now, those ones who survived and they came back home, will they end up like the soldiers who ended up being given an area and then they were just left without being recognized for the sacrifices that they have made for this country? Mr. Speaker, it's about time that we think twice about the welfare of our men and women in uniforms. Our police today, Mr. Speaker, I met the other one the other day, and he told me that he buys his own uniform. We no longer have money. If the police are buying their own uniforms here, and we are willing to send them to Haiti, why then can we not demand that these countries that were not willing to support our mission, support us, be able to help these families? I wonder even if there's any support, is it called psycho support to the family, psychosocial support to the family? So, Mr. Speaker, this is a very important statement, and I really do hope that we can be able, the legal committee headed by, who is Sigei, can actually be able to get to the bottom line of this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, with that, honorable senators, allow me to rearrange today's order paper pursuant to Standing Order 45-2. We will move to order number 9 and thereafter resume the normal flow as contained in today's order paper. Clerk, please call that order.
Order number 9, the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2025. Second reading, resumption of debate.
Now, Senator Faki, when debate was interrupted, you had taken the floor and you had a balance of 16 minutes. You may proceed.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, na nimesimama kuunga mkono mswada wa sheria wa mabadiliko ya sheria ya misitu katika nchi yetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, jana wakati tulipokuwa nimeanza kueleza ni kwamba sheria hii ina umuhimu sana kwa sababu tunaweka taasisi ambayo itakuwa inasimamia misitu kikamilifu. Vile vile kuna nafasi ya kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba mkurugenzi service kwamba zile tunazoita carbon credit zitaweza kudhibitiwa kisawasawa ili nchi yetu iweze kupata mapato ya kisawasawa, Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa mfumo huu mpya wa kuweza kupata mapato. Mheshimiwa Spika, hapo awali kwa sasa nchi yetu haina njia ama haina uwezo wa kuweza kudhibiti haya masuala ya carbon credit. Kwa hivyo hii sheria itaweza kutupa nafasi ya kufanya hivyo. Vile vile Mheshimiwa Spika, pia tutakuwa na nafasi nzuri ya kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba zile mbegu za misitu ama zile miche ya misitu ambayo tunapanda nchini mwetu ni miche ambayo imehakikishwa na shirika la KBC. Mheshimiwa Spika, vile vile sheria hii italinda ile tunayoita pia kwa Kiingereza biodiversity. Sijui wewe Senator Murango biodiversity unaiita vipi kwa lugha ya Kiswahili? Lakini biodiversity ni jambo moja ambalo Mheshimiwa Spika litaweza kudhibitiwa na sheria hii. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, sheria hii ina mambo mengi mazuri na ningependa maseneta waisome na wahakikishe kwamba tumeunga mkono ili tuweze kupata sheria ambayo itasaidia nchi kuweza kulinda misitu yake na kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba misitu inaleta faida kwa jamii kupitia kwa mapato mbalimbali. Tusitarajie tu kwamba misitu itatupa kuni ama itatupa makaa, la. Tunataka misitu iweze kutupa pesa nyingi ambazo ni za kisasa, sio zile ambazo za zamani ambazo ziko sasa, na kwa vile pia ndio njia pekee yake ya kulinda mazingira na kupunguza mabadiliko ya hewa tabia nchi. Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga mkono mswada huu na naomba maseneta waunge mkono tuweze kupitisha. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga mkono.
Senator Murango. Senator Faki, carbon credit kwa Kiswahili ni hewa ukaa. So, Senator Murango, I'm informed the Honorable Senator was actually seconding this motion. So I will now proceed to propose the question before I open the floor. Honorable Senators, I will now proceed to propose the question that the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2025, be now read a second time. Senator Murango, you may take the floor.
Asante sana, Mr. Speaker. Ningetaka kuunga mkono marekebisho ya sheria ambayo imeletwa katika mbuga la Seneti. Na kabla sijasema hiyo, Senator Faki ameniuliza biodiversity inaitwa bioanuai kwa lugha ya Kiswahili. Kwa hivyo Mr. Speaker, ya kwanza, misitu yetu ni muhimu sana kwetu. Na kwa hivyo si vizuri kuachia taasisi moja kuzingatia na kudhibiti misitu. Ni vizuri kuwe na pia na wataalamu ambao wanaweza kuangazia mambo tofauti kwenye msitu. Na Mr. Speaker, wakati mwenyekiti wangu ambaye ni Senator Faki alileta hii marekebisho ya sheria mbele ya kamati, kuna mambo mengi tuliangalia na kuna mambo ambayo tuliweza pia kurekebisha. Kwa sababu kwanza kurekebisha kusema kwamba zile sheria na zile nguvu zimepewa NLC zinakaa vile vile zilivyo, ili kuhakikisha kwamba kuna usalama wetu kwa misitu. Jambo la pili ambalo ni muhimu sana kwa hii marekebisho ya sheria ni kuhakikisha kwamba wanaopanda miti pia wanapata hiyo mkopo wa hewa ukaa ambayo Mr. Speaker umetaja. Kwa sababu kwa muda sasa tumekuwa tujui, kwa sababu venye nasikia kuna walowezi mpaka siku ya leo huwa wao ndo wanafurahia matunda ya misitu kutoka nchi ya Kenya bila wa Kenya na wanaolinda misitu kufaidika. Kwa hivyo Mr. Speaker, wakati taasisi hiyo itakuwa imetengenezwa, itaweza kuangazia mambo mengi tofauti kuhakikisha ya kwamba hata kama tunamuua mgaa haki yake tunampa, kwa sababu watu wengi wanaokaa karibu na misitu kazi yao inakuanga ni kuchunga tu misitu na kupokea kichapo wakati wanyama wanatoka na kuharibu mimea yao. Kama leo Mr. Speaker, unaona wale wanakaa karibu na Mlima Kenya upande wa Meru wengi sana wanalia na ndovu. Ukienda upande wa Taita Taveta, Lamu, naona wanalia na ndovu. Lakini faida ya misitu haitiririki inavyopaswa kufikia wale wanaolinda misitu na kufaidika nayo. Na tena Mr. Speaker, pia ni watu ambao wanasikia kama wameachwa nje katika wakati misitu, wakati kuna faida kwa misitu. Kwa mfano Mr. Speaker, juzi katika eneo la Kirinyaga kuna kijana moja uliuliwa kwa sababu alipata akiokota kuni kwenye msitu wa Mlima Kenya na maafisa wa kulinda misitu. Mr. Speaker, ni mambo ambayo tunafaa kuangazia na ile taasisi iangalie ili tujue wale wanaoishi karibu na misitu ambao wanaudhika na wanyama pia wanafaidika kivipi. Kwa sababu kama mtu atauliwa kwa sababu ameokota kuni kwa msitu, hiyo itakuwa si jambo zuri, na tena ameuliwa na maafisa wanaolinda misitu. Kwa hivyo ninapoongea siku ya leo ni vizuri pia taasisi ile iwe inaangalia haki ya kibinadamu kwa wale ambao wanakaa karibu na misitu. Na tatu Mr. Speaker, ni kuhakikisha pia wenyeji wanapewa nafasi kwa misitu. Kwa sababu kama leo nimesikia taarifa ambayo imeletwa na Senator Mondege hapa ambayo ilikuwa inaangazia sana sana wakulima wa nyuki wanaoweka mizinga. Kuna msemo unasema kitamu kilambwe, kilitokana kwa sababu ya utamu wa asali Mr. Speaker. Na kwa hivyo wale wanakaa karibu na misitu wakipewa nafasi, kwa sababu nyuki hawaharibu, tena wanasaidia sana katika ukulima. Uchavushaji ambao kwa kimombo unaitwa pollination Mr. Speaker unafanyika kwa sababu kuna misitu na kuna nyuki. Kwa hivyo wananchi wanaokaa kando kando ya misitu wakiweza kupewa nafasi pia waweke mizinga kule, wataweza kufaidika kiuchumi na pia kufaidika kwenye mimea ambayo tunakuza kila siku Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, nikimalizia ni pia kuwe na uwazi. Wakati mwingi wakati misitu iliyokomaa inavunwa, unapata sana sana wenyeji ambao ndio wanalinda misitu wao wanawekwa kando. Na unapata wenye wanapata hiyo nafasi ni watu wengine. Ili taasisi kama ile iangalie kwamba kuwe na usawa. Kwa sababu Mr. Speaker, sioni ni maana gani kwamba gatuzi zetu, na ukiangalia gatuzi nyingi hakuna wenye wana msitu, wakati misitu inakuja kuuzwa ama kuuziwa wale wanaohitaji miti ambayo imekomaa Mr. Speaker, unakuja kupata zile gatuzi zetu bado wanatumia fedha nyingi sana kununua samani ambazo zinatumika katika shule nyingi za chekechea kwa bei ya juu. Na hili hali kuna miti ambayo kama ingeuziwa zile gatuzi wangeweza pia kutengeneza zile samani watoto wetu waweze kuzitumia kwa bei ya kirahisi. Kwa hivyo pia tunataka taasisi ambayo pia itafanya kazi na ifanye kazi pamoja na gatuzi kuhakikisha kwamba faida za misitu si kupanda miti tu na kulea miti, ila wale wanaoishi na kutunza misitu wamepata faida ya misitu Mr. Speaker. Ya mwisho ni kwamba misitu inakuanga ni vyanzo vingi vya maji. Mara nyingi, na hii ningetaka hata tukipitisha hii kwa sababu tumekuwa na matatizo kama haya. Wakati mnataka kutoa maji kwa msitu, kupata cheti ili uweze kutoa maji kwa vyanzo vya msitu kupelekea wananchi, inakuanga ni safari ndefu sana Mr. Speaker. Wakati unaenda kwa maafisa wanaolinda misitu, unapewa stori nyingi, hekaya za Mbunuasi, Esopo, ambazo zinapoteza muda mrefu. Najua kuna mradi wa maji kama kwetu, umemaliza kama na umepewa pesa na serikali, lakini marumbano ya kupewa nafasi ama cheti ya kuweza kwenda kuingia pale kwa msitu inachukua miaka. Ni vizuri pia wajue kwamba ingali msitu ni mzuri, pia binadamu ni wanzuri kushinda kuliko wanyama. Kwa hivyo wakati kuna njia mwafaka ama maendeleo ambayo inafaa kulinda manufaa ya wakazi wasitekelezwe na watu wasiendelee kungonja, sababu ngoja pia umiza matumbo. Kwa sababu haki ikichelewa hakuna haki yoyote hapa, Mstahiki Speaker. Kwa Mstahiki Speaker, nasema asante.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is an amendment originating from the National Assembly, which seeks to bring, to speed the forest conservation in Kenya. It is now a practice in the world. Mr. Speaker, there are so many projects being done by the government, and I'm sure you are aware of FLOCA, which has an inclination towards greening or making sure that we reduce the ozone layer. And such an effort goes into preservation of forests in the country. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, these are not being shared equally in the country. We could actually afforest our country afresh, because there are indigenous trees which grow everywhere without so much need of water or be watered or irrigated. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to come out. The whole idea of carbon credits is featuring in this amended version. There is an improvement, but it's not coming out clear, because there are other laws associated with this, and now this law seems to be made to amalgamate all the laws in this environmental area, whereby the main idea is to plant more trees in the country. With the FLOCA projects, Mr. Speaker, you'll be surprised. They would have been very successful if the water pans and the boreholes and irrigation was geared towards growing seedlings, and especially of locally generated forests, whereby the forests can grow naturally. There are places acacia grows naturally. There are places, natural trees which are not even thorny, and many other uses grow naturally. There hasn't seemed to be that effort. Mr. Speaker, when I grew up, there was a forest near my home, a natural forest on a hill which is described as a hill tower. But people raided it for many years, and it was becoming a desert, and erosion was beginning to take place. But when I was first elected in 2013, I hired a young person just to simply surveil and make sure no one cuts trees there. And then later on, the county government also hired somebody who assisted the employee I had hired as a member of parliament. And today, naturally, it has become a very thick forest. And you can see the changes in rainfall patterns. So, Mr. Speaker, if this law can be implemented and we grow trees to replace the ones which have already been cut and increase the greenery, not so much to earn carbon credits, but so much to improve our environment and take it back to what it used to be probably 100 years ago, Mr. Speaker, will be helping the country and the world. The idea of carbon credit is Kenya is not such a pollutant, but when other countries pollute the atmosphere and they encourage us to plant trees with the principle of polluter pays, then these countries are supposed then to pay us these carbon credits. But if you look at it, it is so porous, Mr. Speaker. Although we are making this law, I don't think this has been watertight enough to warrant a farmer who for real grows 1,000 acres of trees and increases the green coverage in the world is compensated for the so-called carbon credits. It seems so porous that it is owned by international cartels, and there's no proper formula how a Kenyan or a common person in this country will ever be paid a shilling on this carbon credit, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, as much as we make this law, I think that the committee dealing with environment needs to look further. I have seen the theme nowadays is environment. We had a very good meeting here of IPO and the issue of methane and all that, and I've seen that, and similarly there was a follow-up in Naivasha with the climate caucus, the environmental climate change caucus of the House, and I've seen there's going to be a further meeting between 15th and 17th of this month when we take a short break here in Nairobi and attracting quite a number of international partners in this, Mr. Speaker. But I thought as a country we should really protect our own people, and especially people who are going to invest. I have seen proposals in Makueni County where a Russian company had sneaked into the country and was trying to negotiate with the farmers to grow mangoes, which grow naturally as forests, and subsequently earn carbon credits. But without filtering this system through the national government system, it was very difficult for these people to access Makueni County directly, you know, and as much as the idea sounded very good, I still think not only growing mango forest, because mango is part of, you know, fruit production, which the tree coverage may be limited because of the space you need between mango trees so that they can give the best. And as much as we want to plant trees which are productive, from mango trees to mangrove trees, to you know, many other trees which produce, even coffee trees. There are so many trees which are productive, Mr. Speaker. You know, and each there seems to be conflict of laws. The agriculture laws on some of these issues, because some of them are scheduled crops, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, as much as we are enacting this law, there needs somebody, or probably could amend more, to make sure that other laws are taken care of. I've seen quite a number of other acts which get touched by this, like the Pensions Act. I don't know what's the difference between the Secretary now being introduced, the position of Secretary being introduced, and Director General. I think it's just one and the same thing. I don't think much will change on that, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I think it is important, even when, Mr. Speaker, we work on this, that the experts in the House, it looks at it more keenly. I'm sure there are very serious experts in this House on environment and forest, and people who are very serious experience. And we have different forests in the country. The forest you find in Makueni is not the forest in Nandi. The forests you find in northern Kenya are so natural and amazing. I went there with Senator Chute and a few senators to deal with a cohesion issue in the north. And you could see there are places actually with very serious forests, Mr. Speaker, and whereby the tree cover can still be added even naturally and be more useful. But conspicuously, lack of supply of water, you know, you can see it. If you compare the desertification and the desert situation we have in this country and the desert in Israel, Mr. Speaker, and how they use drip irrigation to grow forests and to grow trees to beautify Israel. Mr. Speaker, we can borrow this and make sure that even in the worst desert situation, we grow the species of trees which grow there naturally. And most of them are food and fruity and also beneficial commercially. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to support this great invention to amend this act and make it better. Although so many things have not been provided, Mr. Speaker, and the reasons why we are doing this, they have not been aligned as the usual when we are making a new act or we are amending an act of parliament. I think this one particularly can become very useful to the country. But generally, the practice we used to have during the Nyayo days of increasing forest cover and making sure, and laws such that if you have 10 acres, at least 1 acre should be covered by a forest, that the farmers don't just farm, remain with the trees. You could have trees on fence lines. If you go to America, you find trees along the main highways, although part of it is to stop snow from accumulating on the roads. is it breaks wind and beautifies the area. So I think we need to capture quite a number of things, beautification even in cities, towns, markets, and more important, grow economically useful trees to increase the tree cover in the country, and also to increase the credit, the carbon credits likely to accrue and to benefit farmers. So I do support, Mr. Speaker, and by third reading, Mr. Speaker, I'm looking forward into a number of amendments, especially well researched, to make sure this act is better and improves our environment in the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Chiranke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. From the onset, I want to support this bill, but of course, with a few reservations here and there, but I know we shall be able, Mr. Speaker, to amend in the Committee of the Whole, Mr. Speaker, sir. I know this is a National Assembly bill. Mr. Speaker, out of curiosity is that we tend to process as fast as we can under 159 principle, the bills that come from National Assembly. But most of our bills, Mr. Speaker, has developed or have become part of cemetery and graveyard in the National Assembly. I don't know, in the wisdom of you and Senate Business Committee, we should be fair to this House, because I can see a number of bills we schedule are all from National Assembly. But I know it is in the wisdom of Senate Business Committee. Maybe in future, when some of us will be lucky to be in SBC, things may change. Mr. Speaker, just a few observations. The bill, and I want to start from, while we appreciate that there is a whole chapter on environment and Article 60, where even it proposes that 10% of forest cover, and I think that is where the president principle of building, of planting 15 billion Kenya shillings, 15 billion trees, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order, Senator?
Honorable Speaker, you know, I've really thought about it after 2-3 seconds, and Senator Chelagay should not run away from this mistake, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know the Senate Business Committee, which you chair, Mr. Speaker, has worked for us for the last 4 years. And there is never a time that committee has been blamed for anything. But Mr. Speaker, listening to Chelagay understanding on 105, he is casting aspersions to that committee, Mr. Speaker, that next time when he gets a chance, or some of them refer to some of us get a chance next time, the committee will be learn better. That means it will be prioritizing bills from the Senate. So, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Senator Chelagay, you must withdraw and apologize to the members of the Senate Business Committee. That committee, we are here courtesy of the business. They passed on Tuesday, Mr. Speaker, at noon. When Chelagay was busy running up and down this town, that committee was sitting, even they did not take lunch. I know they sit up to even 2 p.m., Mr. Speaker. You are the chair. I know the Minority Whip is also a member. And many other members, Mr. Speaker, who are not present this afternoon. So, Mr. Speaker, because when you are not around, I also chair that committee, Mr. Speaker. And we do marvelous work. So, Mr. Chelagay, you cannot run away from casting aspersions to the cabinet of the Senate. That is the cabinet of the Senate. So can you kindly withdraw, apologize profusely even to the chair, who is the Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Fernandi, you can raise your concerns without necessarily imputing improper motive on a committee of the Senate. Kindly proceed to withdraw and raise your concern without having to impute improper motive.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for guidance, but I thought it was a fair comment.
No, it's not. That's why I've ruled the way I've ruled.
Okay. I withdraw and apologize, but my point has been made. Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday you were in Uganda, and thank you for representing the Parliament of Kenya in congratulating His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He is now going for the 7th term, 40 years in power. Mr. Speaker, and we congratulate you for attending on behalf of all of us and on behalf of the President of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, and that is why I wanted to continue looking at Article 60 on the principle of even environment, the issue of ensuring the forest land resources, conservation that has been extrapolated. And Mr. Speaker, I want to take to the House when we had the climate summit that happened, and I saw Senator Kajwang, who is the chair of Climate Caucus, and I know from 18 to 21st they're having a meeting. Mr. Speaker, and I want to say, when we passed the bill during that African summit on climate change, the President has led 15 billion trees, Mr. Speaker. We appreciate, and these laws on environmental conservation, and this international conference, Mr. Speaker, is a conversation that we must take out of village mentality. Mr. Speaker, I saw a former impeached deputy president trying to cast aspersions on the African Forward, chaired by President William Ruto and Macron, President Macron, Mr. Speaker. You know, somebody who has not developed out of village mentality, and he was casting aspersions on why President William Ruto was hosting what we call Africa Forward Summit, that we develop resolutions. And this is the person who has never outgrown his village mentality somewhere in Uamunyoro, Mr. Speaker. He has not even held a meeting with a staff of an embassy. Some of us are better. Personally, I have ever sat with an ambassador of Brazil, Mr. Speaker, and you are saying you are an opposition leader and you don't know how international principles operate, Mr. Speaker.
The rule on relevance.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, but I was tying up with the summits that we have, because you remember in the last session, Mr. Speaker, we had African Summit on climate. And I'm underscoring the importance of international summit and engaging, because the issue of forestry and conservation and the issue of management is an international matter. It is not a village matter, the way some people want to localize through what we call villagitis and tension syndrome by some of our opposition figures. And that's why some of us miss Raila Odinga. Mr. Speaker, that is why I wanted to say on this Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, which is amending, I want number 2, and I wish it would have been addressed, and I'm happy Senator Ledama is here. Mr. Speaker, we have another problem which we must confront, Mr. Speaker, the issue of forest evictees. Mr. Speaker, I know there is what we call infrastructural evictees, but now we have forest evictees. You remember we had run-in, Mr. Speaker, especially on issue of Mao. We have so many Kenyans, even what we call absentee landlords. We have people that has been displaced, Mr. Speaker, even in my own county, Mr. Speaker, even in Meru, there are many Kenyans who, out of this issue of forest evictees, Mr. Speaker, have been evicted. Like a place called Ngatip Kong. I was somewhere in a place called Taptengelei, Kwa Kinyanjui. There is a place called Kapkoros. This forest, because we have 3 forests in Nandi, Mr. Speaker, to all the way to Kapchorwa, Mr. Speaker, the people have been evicted. When you go to Mgwen sub-county, when you go to Tindred constituency, when you go to Chesumei, Mgwen, and most of the, because of the forest. And you know, as much as Nandi, we have 3 forests. We have Nandi North Forest, we have Tindred Forest, and we have Kimondi Forest, Mr. Speaker. But Kenyans must see. I've seen the role of what we call Registrar of Forest in clause number 6. And I agree with Senator Mahanso, there is no need to have Director General, then duplicate those functions with the Secretary of the Forest. That is Secretary of Forest Regulation. It doesn't make sense because they do similar work, Mr. Speaker. And looking at the role that they have developed, you know, Mr. Speaker, the only solution for this forest to thrive in Narok, where Mao is, Mr. Speaker, to thrive in Nandi, to thrive in Meru, to thrive in Kilifi and coastal region on mangrove forests. The only way for the forest in Chemasusu, in Baringo, that is sharing Baringo and Nakuru County, is for the community to own this forest, is for the community to adopt a tree, Mr. Speaker. And I've seen the functions on the regulation of Secretary of Forest regulation, Mr. Speaker. Some of them, they have tried to including the Kenya Forest Institute on their role of seed production, issuing regulatory guidelines. Mr. Speaker, you remember, and we are lucky as a country, people like Wangari Maathai, the former Tetu member of parliament, who went to become Nobel laureate in terms of environment conservation and the issue of the conservation of our forests, Mr. Speaker. You remember people who stood and fought against destruction of the forest, Mr. Speaker. And that is why I want to emphasize that we must own these forests. We must ensure that these forests, there is the issue of licensing, regulation, certification, there is the issue of compliance, regulatory. Mr. Speaker, and you remember during Kibaki era, there is what we call shamba system, where communities are allowed to farm as they protect the tree. It is similar saying adopt a tree, Mr. Speaker. And I remember, Mr. Speaker, when the former deputy governor of Baringo passed on and we went to his home, I'm failing to recall the name where we were in Ravine, and I'm seeing the senator of Baringo is around. Mr. Speaker, and the only argument was those people was they allowed to do shamba system within the forest of Chemasu so that they can adopt and protect. You cannot bring regulations and compliance and licensing regulatory regime through Secretary of Forest without the role of the community. The community must own the forest. That's the only way you can protect. And you remember even during Nyayo era, Mr. Speaker, you remember during Nyayo era, there was what we call Nyayo T-zones. When you drive all the way from Kakamega through Shinyalu to Kakamega Forest, all the areas surrounding the forest, Moi, I saw some people castigating Moi. They don't know what Moi has done for this country. I saw somebody saying William Ruto is a reincarnation of Mzee Moi. Moi did his part during his time, Mr. Speaker. And you remember it is Moi, and I know, you know where Kiptagich is, Senator Ladama, Mr. Speaker. Moi came with Nyayo T-zone and ensured there was a buffer zone. They ensured they grow tea around most of the forests to protect the grabiosis system of grabbing land within our forests, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we celebrate Mzee Moi, one of the distinguished sons of Baringo, and one of the great leaders. Mr. Speaker, and you will never wrap the history of Moi. He ruled this country like a colossus for 24 years, and people like Senator Chemitei grew and they were drinking milk from Nyayo era, Mr. Speaker, and that is why we have many young men and strong men, Mr. Speaker. So that is what I wanted to say on the issue of Director General that we are introducing and the issue of ensuring regulatory. We must encourage the issue of shamba system so that we can ensure, Mr. Speaker, we don't duplicate. Mr. Speaker, number 4 is on the headquarters. This bill, Mr. Speaker, I know you are a well-traveled man. You have been to Brazil. I think Brazil, there is Brasilia, Sao Paulo. Mr. Speaker, you have been to Tanzania. There is Dar es Salaam and Dodoma. There have been arguments in this country that we need to move our headquarters to Isiolo so that we decongest Nairobi. How can we say we are a house of devolution if we are saying this headquarters should be in Nairobi? These are forests. Do you see any forest in Nairobi apart from Kibiku or any other forest like here in Kiambu? Mr. Speaker, we should even take the headquarters of this forest service, Mr. Speaker, to be in Mau. Mr. Speaker, how do you decongest Nairobi? And I'm happy the party leader of ODM, one of the key stakeholders in governance of this country, is here. Mr. Speaker, we should encourage devolution by all instances, Mr. Speaker. And that is why we are saying, if it is forest, take it to Mau Forest headquarters. If it is tea, take it to Kericho. If it is to maize, take national cereals to be headquarters in Wasingishu. If it is tourism, take it to Kilifi or Mombasa. If it is livestock, Mandera or somewhere. Maybe like if we have other things like potatoes, we can make it the headquarters of such, Mr. Speaker. But the point I'm trying to make, it is fallacious for us as a house to agree that how do we decongest Nairobi? Nairobi is clogging. Even the leader of the governor of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, has always told us that Nairobi is built on a swamp. God forbid if Nairobi sinks today, It will sing with the entire government, Mr. Speaker, of this republic. So we must be careful as we say, let us make sure that it is headquarters of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, underscoring the principles that we have had in Article 60 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of forestry, we need to develop
Fernande, would you wish to be informed by Senator Senior Counsel Mogeni?
No. From the way he's behaving, I am hesitant to be informed. No, Mr. Speaker, can you protect me from this class? These who are Munyoro are now learning how to equal. Mr. Speaker, that is what I'm saying. Maybe if it was Senator Kajwang, I would have agreed because he is the chair of the Climate Caucus.
Conclude your remarks.
Mr. Speaker, I still have time. Mr. Speaker. I'll conclude, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order, Senator Mogeni?
Freeze my time.
Actually, I just wanted to assist my friend, Senator Fernande, and just have it on record. He has made a statement, this House of Record, to the effect that the headquarters of this institute should have been devolved to one of the counties. And he says that this draft bill says that the headquarters will be Nairobi. But, Mr. Speaker, I'd gone through this bill, and Section 29H actually says that the headquarters of the institute shall be in Kiambu County. And as defenders of devolution, we know that Kiambu is a county. Kiambu cannot be said to be Nairobi. So that statement he has made, that we should be thinking about devolution. In fact, this bill has gone ahead and said the headquarters will be devolved to one of the counties. So that should be on record. If that statement he has made remains, it is actually misleading. It's misleading. Thank you.
Senator Fernande, your earlier statement was not factual. If you read through the bill, you may proceed to conclude your thoughts.
Mr. Speaker, but what the senior counsel is saying is economical with the truth, because Kiambu is part of Nairobi Metropolitan. So if we create Nairobi Metropolis, it will capture part of Kajiado and Kiambu. So it's still part of Nairobi. Mr. Speaker, but I appreciate...
Senator Fernande, why should you argue on anything that is put before you? Just accept, as per the Act, okay, your statement is not factual, and proceed to conclude your thoughts.
Mr. Speaker, that is why I'm just saying it is good it's Kiambu, but it's still part of Nairobi Metropolis. Mr. Speaker, and Kiambu does not have forest. How many forests does it have? We should go to Mau. Karura is being dismembered. So, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of qualification, I have seen that they are saying people who should serve in the board are people who have masters. Mr. Speaker, that's unfair. Why don't we use the bare minimum of a degree? Why masters? We should have a degree, Mr. Speaker. Because even if, why are we unfair to Kenyans? If Parliament, we have even class 3 dropouts who have been elected to Parliament, who don't know how to read and write. Mr. Speaker, who don't know even how to sign. And they are busy yelling and yapping all over the place, Mr. Speaker. We need to be fair to Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. We are not the holier than thou, Mr. Speaker. We must ensure...
Senator Mogeni, what is your point of order?
I don't know what Senator Fernande has taken this afternoon, because he's again making a very misleading statement. Mr. Speaker, you know that one of the qualifications for you to be elected as a member of parliament, you must have proficiency in the English or Kiswahili language. But he's making a statement on the floor that there are people who have been elected to this house who can neither read or speak or sign. That should not be on record when he's making that statement before this honorable house. And I challenge him to name those 3 members for the public to know.
Senator Fernande, you may proceed to substantiate, failure to which you just withdraw and conclude your thoughts.
Mr. Speaker, how can I substantiate the obvious? They are known. They can't express themselves, Mr. Speaker. I can bring you a number of clips when you are even doing
Can you
swearing
substantiate?
Yes, I can with the answer, and I'll bring the answer.
Proceed to substantiate.
Mr. Speaker, can I get time to substantiate in the next sitting?
By tomorrow.
Okay. Because they are there, and I'm surprised the Parliamentary Service Commissioner is not aware, and yet his access to some of the academic documents.
Senator Fernandi, we have put this matter for tomorrow.
And I hope I'll get time to name the people who have never spoken even on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, and therefore I was arguing on the qualifications that we need to be fair, Mr. Speaker, so that our master's is too high. Let us make it at least a minimum of a degree or even a diploma in the relevant field. Mr. Speaker, and I know the chairperson of Senate on climate change in Parliament, Senator Kajwang, is in the House. The caucus, I would really want to listen to his rare thoughts, as rare as a snowball in hell, on what he thinks about this bill. After he says it, then we can think about it, Mr. Speaker. And you know he's a member of Broadbase, so I'm comfortable to listening to him. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to support the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill 2025.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make some brief comments on this very, very important bill, which I really hope that all of us can be able to take some time and read through the bill, understand the intended and unintended consequences of the bill. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, when I look at the bill, I struggle with two competing interests. One interest is a commercial interest versus genuine conservation of our forests, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the good senator from Nandi alluded to the fact that the good president of this country has attempted to ensure that we have at least 10% forest cover in this country. Mr. Speaker, this bill suggests the following: that an easement is allowed to be able to create roads in forests for easy access. That, to me, Mr. Speaker, creates an avenue where we politicians can be able to grab the land, to put a road in the forest, in the middle of a forest, in the guise that we are actually doing it for the public good. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to make my comments based strictly on the pros and cons of this bill, so that we can attempt, as the upper house, to balance the interest of genuine conservation versus conservation. Mr. Speaker, I have refused to accept the debate on carbon credit in this country because of the available literature which is there for my community, people in my community, to be able to understand the benefit of carbon credit. I've looked at the pros of this bill, and I appreciate them because they adhere to ensure that they align with the Constitution of Kenya and other international standards or global standards when it comes to issues of conservation. The bill has also set up a legal framework to be pursued, including one which I think is actually very unique, to ensure an oath of office, to ensure that there is accountability. This is the first bill, Mr. Speaker, that I've actually seen. It clearly indicated that when you are removing the director, you must subject him to the Constitution to be able to fair practices, labor fair practices. Mr. Speaker, the cons, which I want to focus a little bit on this bill, because I always look at a bill on the evidence-based, pros and cons, so that when we are doing this, we don't only think about our current generation, but we think about future generations which will be subjected to this bill. Most of the bills that operate in this country today, Mr. Speaker, are bills that were developed by our forefathers, the colonial masters. We have the Penal Code, which we are always struggling to amend to be able to fit into the current constitution. This bill, as we amend this bill, this is a bill that has come from the National Assembly. As we look through it, I want to beseech all of us to be able to take a toothpick and comb through every clause and ask yourself, what are the cons? Mr. Speaker, there is a risk of increased deforestation in this bill. Amendment to Section 56, which allows easement for public roads, utilities, and infrastructure in public forests, potentially, Mr. Speaker, accelerate forest clearance and contradicts the 15 or 10% forest cover in the country. That is an issue that we must be alive to and find a way to be able to either gazette clearly the forest, and also even the easements. Gazette them clearly, Mr. Speaker. That is one issue that is a con in this bill, and we need to be able to deal with it. Number two, Mr. Speaker, is an issue that I've alluded to it, that I've refused to entertain the debate on it because of lack of proper understanding, is a risk of carbon credit vulnerability. Section 47A and B, which is being added in this bill, enable forest carbon projects under the Kenya Forest Services, resulting in fear of poor governance, benefit, diversion, and sideline of local community, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want communities to be able to own these projects. We have always supported shamba systems in the forest to enhance the forest cover. So when the decisions are now being made outside the community, that risks, because we want our people to be able to benefit. If there is any carbon benefit or carbon credit benefit, that carbon credit should benefit the local people who live there. So, Mr. Speaker, that is an issue that I think we need to focus on. Mr. Speaker, when I started my submissions, I spoke about the need to develop legislations for future generations, the need to develop legislation and continue increasing learning opportunities for us to enhance and better legislations. I see one of the biggest problems in this bill is once we eliminate training institutions, a replacement of Section 17, when you remove the Forest College, where are you going to get people who are going to be trained to be able to fully understand these issues? So, Mr. Speaker, this potentially weakens experts for future generations. Everything we are doing today, Mr. Speaker, is for the future generation. You know, I refuse to believe that I will live forever because I know my time is limited. So whatever I put my pen in, whatever I put my 2 cents in, has got to be something that will better the future generation. And this boils down to the 2 competing interests. One, which is the issue of commercial interest when it comes to the issue of carbon credit, and genuine conservation. Mr. Speaker, when the late Wangari Maathai was still alive, Uhuru Park was complete. Today, it's only a small section which can be considered Uhuru Park, because half of it was taken into building a bus park, the other half of it is just there. That conservation effort that she fought so hard for is something that reminds me of her agility and dedication to the goodwill of this environment of this nation. Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, was once regarded as a green city, but slowly by slowly it's turning into a concrete jungle. So we need to be able to safeguard these interests. We need to make sure that the expertise continue being trained. So this issue of a forest college must still be entrenched and brought back. So we need to look at Section 17, which is being removed. Mr. Speaker, The other cons in this bill is the loophole for exploitations of our forest cover. When it comes to the issue of development, we have to be cognizant to the fact that the only time that we'll have a clean environment is if forest remains forest. But when there is a small loopholes of allowing development in forest, it may enable some of us, and I'm not pointing at any person in particular, to have a desire in using corrupt means to cut a section of the forest to develop their own business empire. Mr. Speaker, it is important, and I want to reiterate this, and I'm happy that I can see young people in the public gallery, that every piece of legislation that we develop in this country has got to take their interest at heart. It has to put their interest first to make sure that we still maintain a good environment for them. When I was growing up, Mr. Speaker, we used to plant trees on a daily basis. Narok Town had a beautiful forest called Olekonyo Forest. I'm currently attempting to try and plant more trees to see whether we can be able to save, the environment. So, Mr. Speaker, the future generation and even the Gen Zs, the Gen Alphas, must be trained. Whatever we do, Mr. Speaker, we must show them that we want to make this country a better place for them. We spend more time insulting each other left, right, and center. But when it comes down, when the chips finally fall, what should lead us, Mr. Speaker, is us developing an environment which is going to be good, that we are going to depend on ourselves as a nation first. We're going to look at Kenya first before we look at other interests of other nations. Kenya must always be first. Help me understand carbon credit. Help my people in the village understand carbon credit. Help these younger people, the generation, understand carbon credit. They do not understand. If I do not understand, I'm 100% sure that they do not understand. The people I represent do not understand. So when you want to amend legislation, ensure that you entrench their interest first. Make sure they are the ones who are leading that piece of legislation. And this brings me to my last point, Mr. Speaker, of equity and oversight gaps. We are now decentralizing these forest professional forums. But I see a lack of robust accountability. And what do I mean by that? The only way that we can ensure that our forests are fully accounted for is by ensuring that local communities, indigenous people, like when you go to the Loita Forest, Mr. Speaker, the Loita Forest is a very emotive forest with a lot of significance to the Maasai nation, both in Kenya and Tanzania. But recently, there have been some discovery of minerals in that forest. There's a particular interesting red stone which is there. At first, people in the current government and the former government were leading in deforestation, cutting the trees. Mr. Speaker, I stopped a former cabinet secretary's trucks, which were transporting a lot of, cedar trees from there to go and build a hotel somewhere. So this issue, if the community interest is taken, so that this oversight body, the first oversight body must be the local community. Because when it floods, Mr. Speaker, if it happens in Mbutbut Forest, and let's say there's no protection of that forest by the local community, the landslide will affect the local people. If we cut all the trees, a majority of trees, to create easement in the Mau Forest, the people who will suffer are the local Maasai and the Kalenjin people who live in that forest. So I want to beseech the move of this motion, given that it's a bill that is coming from the National Assembly, to consider at the Committee of the Whole to introduce this amendment that deals with those cons and try to turn them into pros. There's absolutely no reason as to why we should develop legislation that has got more cons than pros. Let's apply an evidence-based analysis to the bills that we bring into this house. Are they helping future generation? Are they helping us? Let's understand these bills properly so that we move on to them. And ultimately, yes, all of us are interested in making a buck or two. No one will not be interested. I'm happy that this bill recognizes those people who had a license for a timber yard or for grading of timber, that now, when the responsibility switches to the cabinet secretary, they will still be grandfathered into the new regulations. So, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, we must ensure that we promote a clear balance between genuine conservation and commercial interests. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support.
Next is Senator Manzo. You didn't? Senator Mogeni.
Mogeni.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to also make my contribution to this Forest Conservation and Management Bill 2025, a bill from the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I have noticed that this week we have dealt with a number of bills that have come from our sister house, National Assembly, and I'm happy that I'm speaking when our leader is here, Majority Leader Senator Cheriot. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what happens on the other side. Most of our bills, the bills that have come from this house, Mr. Speaker, have gone to the other house and they're just gathering some dust. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I received a communication to my utter surprise and disappointment that the National Assembly has refused to approve a bill that I drafted to take care of our senior citizens who are facing a lot of discrimination from insurance companies when it comes to providing medical cover for Kenyans who are aged 70 and above. Mr. Speaker, in line with Article 27 of our Constitution, which outlaws discrimination on account of race or age, and taking into account recognition that health is a devolved function, Mr. Speaker, I drafted a bill that was approved by your office of the Speaker to amend the Insurance Act to outlaw the practice by insurance companies where they refuse to take or to issue insurance cover for citizens who are aged 70 and above. And I did this in recognition that there are a number of Kenyans who are lucky to live beyond 70 years and above. In fact, I remember when we were burying the mother of our speaker from our sister house, I was impressed to see his father, I think at 94, speaking very fluently and with very clear thoughts, Mr. Speaker. And I thought that that bill was going to address and solve that problem to the benefit of many Kenyans, our senior citizens. But I have received communication, Mr. Speaker, that the National Assembly has declined, that they will not process that bill because it is not a devolved function. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what reading of the Constitution that can ever be. And I hope that your office will take the initiative to have a sitting with the Speaker of the other House, Mr. Speaker, so that you develop some consensus. Health is a devolved function, Mr. Speaker. Seeking to extend that benefit to citizens who are above 70, because we are also soon going to be there. We'll be heading there, Mr. Speaker. just the other day, Mr. Speaker, you saw the President signing into law some retirement package for judges. And when I read through the new law, I noticed that the government has now committed, which is a good thing, and I fully support. We must treat our judges well when they retire. That law has made it as part of the benefit, made it compulsory that at the expense of the taxpayer, retired judges above 70 years will be given full medical cover by the government, Mr. Speaker. So if we are doing that for people who are privileged to occupy positions at that level, we should also be doing the same, Mr. Speaker, for the poor Kenyans who don't occupy positions where they are guaranteed, Mr. Speaker, that they will get medical cover after retirement. Going back to the bill, Mr. Speaker, I've since learned that there are two headquarters, and I want to correct the impression I created that Senator Cherargei was wrong. I've seen that under Section 4, the headquarters of the organization will be in Nairobi. It is the research branch that will be in Kiambu. So I want that to be corrected. Mr. Speaker, we must agree, Mr. Speaker, that we have an obligation to protect the environment, to protect our forests for the benefit of future generations. Mr. Speaker, when I served as chair of Anti-Corruption Commission, it is during that time that there was a sustained onslaught by a certain cabal in government then to grab Karura Forest. And we worked very closely with the late Professor Wangari Maathai, Mr. Speaker, and EACC filed several cases in court, Mr. Speaker, to stop that grabbing. And I remember, Mr. Speaker, Wangari Maathai used to say that Karura Forest is what she used to call the lungs of Nairobi. It's the one that gives people of Nairobi oxygen. If you deplete Nairobi, you may lack fresh air, Mr. Speaker. So we really must support any initiative like what I've seen in this bill, that will have a dedicated agency that will ensure that we protect our forest. Mr. Speaker, our desire is to have a 10% forest cover, but we will never attain it, Mr. Speaker, if we allow people to continue grabbing part of our national cover, Mr. Speaker. Last week, I was reading a decision, Mr. Speaker, where the Court of Appeal overturned a decision of the High Court that had allowed a Kenyan to grab about 4,600 acres of the renowned Masai Mara, Mr. Speaker. And I want to read aloud that bench of judges, which included the newly appointed judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Warisame, Justice Gachoka, and Justice Mativo. That is an heroic decision, Mr. Speaker, that is giving back, they have said that matter back to the High Court. I hope the judge will hear that matter, Mr. Speaker, will act in a manner that protects Masai Mara, Mr. Speaker. We have so many tourists who come to Kenya just to visit and bring foreign income to our country. If we finish Mara, Mr. Speaker, where will our tourists be going? What we should be thinking is how we can extend the railway network that goes through Narok to extend to Sekinane Gate so that there is easy access. I hope now that we have this bill, Mr. Speaker, I hope that the agency that will be appointed, Mr. Speaker, can even take the extra step of joining as interested parties in the many cases that have been filed in court, either by EACC or any other public body or any other interested Kenyan to protect our forests. Mr. Speaker, on the qualification of the head of this body, we have placed it as per Section 29B, 29(2)D, an experience of 59 of 15 years. Mr. Speaker, we should allow our youths to thrive. We have many young Kenyans who, at an experience of 7 years, they can serve very ably as CEOs. Remember when Mr. Oigara was appointed as the CEO of KCB? I think he was 30-something. He didn't have 15 years experience. But look how he turned around Kenya Commercial Bank to what it is today. And I think when he left, he was again poached by another bank. So when we say 15 years, Mr. Speaker, you are locking out the youth completely. And even I don't think, even at our professional level, at people applying to be judges of the High Court, we don't place it at 15 years. It's 10, Mr. Speaker. 10, and you can pass a sentence to condemn someone to be hanged, and that is it, bring his life to an end. It's a serious assignment. I will propose, Mr. Speaker, that we consider, because of our youth, we consider amending this clause to reduce the experience to at least 10 years. I would have preferred even 7, but maybe a middle ground can be 10 years. But to put 15 years, Mr. Speaker, you will lock out so many of our youths. And we want them to get employment, Mr. Speaker. Then on the issue of 29H on the headquarters, Mr. Speaker, I thought it would be nice, Mr. Speaker, to say that the headquarters of the Kenya Forest Research Institute will be at the headquarters of any of our devolved entities. We have 46 counties other than Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. I don't know why we have said that specifically we make it to be Kiambu, Mr. Speaker. We should have said the headquarters of the institute shall be in one of our counties other than Nairobi, so that, Mr. Speaker, if Kisii or Nyamira can compete to be the headquarters of Kefri, why not? Or if it is in Kericho, or if it's Nandi. I don't know whether I've seen a law that is so prescriptive that it names a particular county as the headquarters of a body corporate like this. I'm just curious. Why say Kiambu? Why not Narok, for example, Mr. Speaker? Why not Nyamira, for example, Mr. Speaker? So I think, to change these headquarters, you must amend the law again, Mr. Speaker. I think we should leave it to be a bit open. Mr. Speaker, I've seen a number of cases where you appoint people to a board and the appointing authority is taken to court. Now, in this particular law at section 29, we are saying the chairperson will be appointed by the president, the speaker. Why can't we say that the CS, in consultation or on the advice of the president, Mr. Speaker? Now, if you have an issue with this appointment, do you sue the president, Mr. Speaker? I'm proposing, Mr. Speaker, that we don't give the president some of these very small duties, like appointing chairman. This is something that can be undertaken by the cabinet secretary, Mr. Speaker. So I hope the committee that will consider this bill will put that into consideration. I have no problem with SRC setting remuneration, but Mr. Speaker, I'm wondering why we cannot have a generic, salary structure for members who serve in our various boards. I mean, why, for example, should you say, if you serve as the chair of Anti-Corruption Commission, you should earn 350,000, but if you are serving as a chair of Kenya Forest, Kenya Conservation and Management Institute, you earn 25. Mr. Speaker, when you walk to a supermarket, the supermarket does not know that you are from EACC and that the other one is from Kefri, Mr. Speaker. We should promote parity and fairness, Mr. Speaker. Everybody should earn the same salary. My argument has always been, Mr. Speaker, there is a police officer working for DCI who is supposed to arrest somebody who has committed a crime or somebody who has swindled public money. You have another police officer forwarded to EACC who is also supposed to investigate that crime somewhere. But you are paying the person at EACC more money than the other police officer from DCI who is doing investigation. What statement are we making, Mr. Speaker? Are we saying that this police officer is not being well remunerated because he's going to get extra money from somewhere, or what are we really saying? If remuneration, Mr. Speaker, is meant to ensure that we adequately compensate members who are serving in public service, then the earnings should be the same, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, the others who are earning less will say we have an excuse to look for other means of topping up so that we earn like people who are in those other bodies. The intention, and Mr. Speaker, I participated when we were making comments on what Kenyans intended when they set up SRC. Mr. Speaker, the intention was to make sure that the remuneration that Kenyans are earning is uniform, Mr. Speaker. We wanted to remove this idea of saying there is a special card of Kenyans working somewhere who earn more and others who earn less. That's why SRC was set up to equalize remuneration so that Kenyans can get what we see in other countries where if remuneration is set at $20 per hour, that's what everybody should be earning, Mr. Speaker. So in future, I hope we can, let SRC tell us, if you are serving as a member of a board, you are sitting in one sitting, you earn 25,000, up to a maximum of this and this, so that we don't keep legislating in every law we are saying in consultation with SRC. So in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I support this bill. We need to conserve our forests. We need to ensure that we enhance the forest cover of this country, and we need to reduce our greed of wanting to grab our forests. You won't take all these things you are trying to accumulate when you die, finally. But the forests will serve the current generation and the future generation. I support, Mr. Speaker.
Next is Senator Mgatana Danson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill 2025. Bill number 38 of 2025 National Assembly bills. Mr. Speaker, I am particularly interested in the National Forest Research Institute that has been set up under this bill. Mr. Speaker, in Tana River County, we have a very serious problem. And this problem, Mr. Speaker, originates from a tree that is called the Mathenge tree. The scientific name for that tree is called Prosopis juliflora. Mr. Speaker, this tree has had a major negative impact on the ecosystems in Tana River County. And Mr. Speaker, it has killed grazing lands. It has affected farmlands. Today, Mr. Speaker, forests are dying because of this Mathenge tree. The history of this tree, Mr. Speaker, is that it was introduced in the 1970s and 1980s with the idea that it would fight desertification. And it was introduced in our county in those days because it's one of the semi-arid counties. And Mr. Speaker, when it came, it started growing with so much force. It spread everywhere. the wild animals would disperse its seeds everywhere. And Mr. Speaker, it grew so fast, and the roots of that tree, Mr. Speaker, are so strong. Even if you cut it today, tomorrow it grows again. Even if it is a dry season, if it rains a bit, all the Mathenge trees will come up again. It drinks a lot of water. It stresses trees. It even prevents the regeneration of the natural vegetation. It prevents regeneration of forests within our area. So, Mr. Speaker, I am very happy to learn that in this bill, in section 291, proposed section 291G, there is, in fact, one of the things that this institute is supposed to do is to assess, map, control, and develop procedure for the control of invasive species. The Mathenge tree has become a major invasive species. And Mr. Speaker, it is a species that does not die. And it is so strong, it kills everything that is natural within the area. Mr. Speaker, even in large-scale irrigation schemes, like the Bura irrigation scheme, you will find that it clogs the canals. When farmers want to plant, they have to spend a lot of money trying to clear Mathenge before they can put the seeds. Mr. Speaker, even the locals, when we are grazing our animals, Mr. Speaker, if your animals, your cows, they bite for whatever reason because of hunger or any reason, they eat this tree, Mr. Speaker, they will have very serious digestion problems. So, Mr. Speaker, this bill speaks to the people of Tana River. I am glad that one of the reasons that has been set up for this research institute is to make sure they control invasive species. Mr. Speaker, what I have also seen in this bill is that they have tried to explain the question of lack of spread for research institutions. The debate has been, where is the headquarters? But I am not really interested in that, Mr. Speaker. I want this bill to speak to the fact that the people who actually suffer are people in the counties. We want this bill to be specific about establishing research centers within the counties, because what it has done is just to say regional centers for research. And Mr. Speaker, when you look at the proposed 29G, it is just talking about regional centers. But when we were dealing with the establishment of judges, when we were passing those laws many years ago, after the new constitution was done, Mr. Speaker, I remember moving a clause that was very specific, saying that each county must have a judge at the county. And progressively, the judiciary has been appointing judges at each county. And Mr. Speaker, I was moving that amendment at that time because there was no high court in Tana River County. But I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker, because of that law, each Chief Justice has continuously and slowly trying to make sure that every county in this country has a Chief Justice. And we have a judge of the High Court. And I am proud to say that in Tana River County, we now have a judge of the High Court. But if you look at the wording of the establishment of research centers in this law, it is not specific, Mr. Speaker, to counties. The language has not been that language that we would use if this law was being set up from the Senate and going to the other side. So I would urge in the third reading, Mr. Speaker, that there be a very specific provision that progressively research centers for forestry be set up in all counties. This is because counties like Tana River County, where I come from, if these provisions are not in the law, the nation tends to ignore some of our counties, Mr. Speaker. They would go, when you mention forests, they don't think of counties like Tana River, and yet we have big forests, Mr. Speaker, in the Kipini area, for example, in the Bangala area, for example, we have huge forests, Mr. Speaker, that in fact are already under the Department of Forestry as we speak. So, Mr. Speaker, it would be a good idea that these forest research centers be established in every county of the Republic of Kenya. I am happy, Mr. Speaker, to note that in the proposed clause 5, the national government is enforced to provide technical assistance to counties. Every county is supposed to get national government technical assistance in as far as agroforestry and commercial forestry in community land is concerned. Now, Mr. Speaker, some of our community lands are registered in Tana River County, but some community lands are not registered. We would want, when they are giving these technical services on agroforestry, on commercial forestry, they should cover both registered and non-registered community lands as the situation exists right now. Mr. Speaker, one of the most important provisions in this Amendment Act is the establishment of the Forest Secretary. Mr. Speaker, this is a very good innovation because up to now, the Department of Forestry has been operating almost like some outsider department that only becomes important when you have political push for growing trees. But then now we are creating a full department which is headed by a secretary. And this Directorate of Forestry is going to be a game changer, Mr. Speaker, because we have the secretary in charge of forests who will be dealing directly with matters to do with forest, who will be directly advising the Cabinet Secretary for Environment on matters forest. He will be developing policy and doing everything else that needs to be done to make sure that forestry in Kenya is exploited to the maximum for the benefit of the people of Kenya. The problem I am having with this law, this proposed law, is coming on 29D. Mr. Speaker, when you look at this clause 29D, it is proposing that the register be established for all professionals in the forest sector. And Mr. Speaker, it is actually suggesting that it is the Secretary of Forests, whom we are setting up now, that will be giving the certifications for you to be a professional in the area, in the practice of forest management and everything related to forestry. Mr. Speaker, we have various professional bodies within the Republic of Kenya. We have the Law Society of Kenya, we have the doctors, we have surveyors, we have many professional institutions. And Mr. Speaker, you will remember that in this parliament, we passed a law to create HR professionals in human resource management, and we created a whole law for them, so that the practice in Kenya has been that management or professional institutes and managing those institutions, it is done by professionals within that area. It is managed by professionals in that area. I'm a lawyer, Mr. Speaker, by training, and the Law Society is managed by lawyers. We conduct our own elections, we carry out our own disciplinary actions, and this is what we do. It is self-regulating. Now, that is the standard that goes across all professionals in Kenya. Now, how does it become that the secretary in charge of forests is the one that certifies professionals in this area of forestry? So, Speaker, it cannot be that one person or one office is in charge of a whole profession. There are many people in the environmental sector. There are many people who are already practicing agroforestry, commercial forest growing. There are people who have been trained in these areas, Mr. Speaker, on environmental management. How can it be that instead of us doing what is supposed to be done, setting up an institute for forestry professionals and having them manage their own issues, we are actually giving these powers to one office called the Secretary of the Directorate of Forestry? Mr. Speaker, I think I fault this law seriously on that matter, and I think it is not a good thing to create an office and give it so much power, and it does not make sense, because the qualification we have put for the Secretary of Forests is a person who has a master's degree. Mr. Speaker, there are people who are professors in the area of environmental law, professors in the area of management, economic, and professor in in management of forestry. Mr. Speaker, these professionals who are environmentalists are the ones who should be regulating the professionals within the area of forestry. It cannot be the secretary who just has a qualification of a master's. Mr. Speaker, I think there is a deficiency somewhere in this law that needs to be looked again in the third reading. We need to place amendments so that we can release the professionals to do their thing. Somebody who has a master's degree cannot be the one certifying a professor in environmental law as a professional in forestry. Mr. Speaker, that is a problem that I have noted with this particular bill. Mr. Speaker, I would really support this bill. I think for the first time now, we are seeing that forestry is being given its proper position within the Republic of Kenya. I see, like, Mr. Speaker, for the first time, we are not treating them as just a force, like a force that is not really defined, because it's not within even the structure of the Ministry of Interior. It is somehow a force, but somehow it is not a force, and they don't have a very good structure. But now, with the creation of the Secretary for Forests, and in the creation of this clear structure that is coming up now with this bill, I think we are headed in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, Kenya has been known to be ahead in terms of making legislation. And I think this is one of a demonstration where we are going. We are moving away from what used to be just a small department of forests to a strong department that has policy direction, head of policy direction. And Mr. Speaker, we believe that it will be able to spread across the counties. I have made a case for every station, every county to have its own station so that we can develop this sector. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Honorable Senators, from my dashboard, there is no other senator wishing to contribute. Therefore, I'll call upon the mover to reply.
Speakers of this House who have spoken on this very important subject, this bill speaks to our future. Any country that does not take care of its national environment and its forest, Mr. Speaker, will one day pay a very heavy price. And I'm particularly happy with the kind of interest that I'm hearing from members that this is a matter which quite a number of them will actually be seeking to amend one or two things. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate that, and I concede, Mr. Speaker, that rarely do you get the kind of interest on a topic that is fairly complex such as this from the number of members that we have gotten this afternoon, and each has picked a particular area of interest to them, things that they feel strongly about. It is my sincere hope that tomorrow, when we progress this bill, members will be available in the House to do the subsequent amendments alongside those of the committee. Mr. Speaker, I thank you. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order number 66.3, I request that the putting of a question be deferred until a later date, preferably tomorrow afternoon. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Majority Leader, the putting of the question on business order number 9 is deferred. Honorable Senators, I again reorganize the order paper. We defer order number 10, and we go now to order number 11. Senator Kalenyamu, kindly approach the chair. Honorable Senators, Honorable Senators, and requesting the clerk to call out order number 11, but due to other technicalities, we are not able to handle that now. So I defer business appearing as order number 11 all the way to 28 because we have no movers of these bills. Of course, yours truly is as under number 23, but I cannot be able to do that now. Then Karanyamu is here, but it seems not to be ready again also for today. So it defer again under number 29 to 34. Clerk. Honorable Senators, upstanding. Honorable Senators, there being no other business on the under paper, the Senate stands adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, 14th May 2026 at 2:30 p.m.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
We're so excited. We were allowing our imaginations to run rampant, okay? We had colors and names and parties and all the things we were going to do. And the nurse checked and said, "I'm so sorry."
Michelle Wilkins has sung with some of the top artists in the Christian music scene, from Mandisa to Toby Mac. All that time on stage didn't compare to the joy of finding out she and her husband Michael were expecting their first child.
The lady says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but there's no longer a heartbeat." It hurt. It was like a pain I had never felt before.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible
Yes.
to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me. Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Bora kusema sitaki, ujipatie salama.
Kwa kila hapana unayosema ujue ni ushindi wa heshima yako, ni mwango wa ndoto zako na ni hatua mbele kwa maisha yako. Asanteni.
Vurugu nyumbani, mwadhirika wa uonevu, sababu za maumbile, urithi wa familia huleta ukatili nyumbani.
Je, ni kweli kuwa wanafunzi wote wamepata fursa sawa masomoni?
Shule zote za mjini na vijijini kunapatikana vifaa kama maudhui ya kidijitali yanayotumika na madarasa yote.
Walemavu. Kuna wanafunzi ambao ni walemavu na wanaweza kukosa shule wezeshi zinazoweza kuwapa vifaa na vitu wanavyohitaji.
Taja aina 3 za vyakula vya asili.
Nduma.
Hapo kwa mbali akasikia sauti, nyaruguru, nyaruguru, nyaruguru yo.
Kutumia viziada lugha.
Utumia viziada lugha, nimependa sana hoja yako.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about the viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Wewe ukazichukua ukaenda ukazibadilisha namba na ukaanza kuziuza.
Ndio liibiwa? Mimi bado ibiwa nduthi. Kijana yako alikwambia liibiwa na nani? Ngo yele sikuwa na pen. Na hii pen. Pen. Apiko.
Ndio tukapata wewe anatengeneza number plate, anabadilisha, anauza.
Tembea polepole na mwendo wa haste ukienda nyumbani.
How can pikipiki swim like a fish?
Ilienda kwa mtu ikaenda ikiduguruma tu.
Mzee,
bindu nilisema mvua inyeshe wakati ile uko kwa barabara.
Si wewe ulisema kwani wewe ni nyesaye, ubenyezao wala mbuli.
Wewe ukazichukua ukaenda ukazibadilisha namba na ukaanza kuziuza.
Ndio liibiwa? Mimi bado ibiwa nduthi. Kijana yako alikwambia liibiwa na nani? Ngo yele sikuwa na pen. Na hii pen. Pen. Apiko.
Ndio tukapata wewe anatengeneza number plate, anabadilisha, anauza.
Tembea polepole na mwendo wa haste ukienda nyumbani.
How can pikipiki swim like a fish?
Ilienda kwa mtu ikaenda ikiduguruma tu.
Mzee,
bindu nilisema mvua inyeshe wakati ile uko kwa barabara.
Si wewe ulisema kwani wewe ni nyesaye, ubenyezao wala mbuli.
Looking for sisterhood? Craving solidarity? Ready for a space where every woman belongs? Then Dada's Show is the show for you. As we discuss real issues, support one another, and celebrate womanhood the Dada's Show way.
Wewe wahitaji watatu ili kukamilika. Mimi nahitaji wawili.
Wewe pia? Hivi Pili alikuwa yazungumzia ukweli?
Ule. Wani?
Na anafanya nini pale na Patel?
Hata ninashangaa.
Tusherekee
alipokuja kwa Sitara, my daughter, my daughter.